billions from the Employee Health and Welfare Fund by 3 of his employees. And Catwoman explains to him that you can be smug all you like, but if you think about it for a moment, if you let the forensic accountants get in too deep, sooner or later they're going to find a digital trail that leads from Wayne Enterprises to the Batcave. Because let's face it, Bruce Wayne is a guy who uses his massive fortune not to solve problems in the private sector, not to wipe out poverty, but to buy really cool toys to beat the shit out of people he doesn't know. But he knows they're bad because of the way they look. Like Jews in Germany. And so basically Batman becomes Catwoman's suggestive partner in this, and they break into the forensic accountant place, fuck up the line, and then track down individually the 3 miscreants. And it's a fun story. It got badly reviewed by somebody, and my feeling was, I have one feeling, just one left, and it was hurt very badly. My editor explained, fuck him. He lives in his mother's basement and he wants your job. Okay, that's a federal remedy. So, thanks, bye.
This is a new edition of an older story.
No, it's just I did it a couple of years ago, and it was done originally as, in those days, I don't know if they're still doing it, they were buying what were sold inventory things. No. So just in case George Perez got, had an attack of women wrestling that month, he couldn't do it. They would slug this in, and it never got needed. So it ended up sitting in the file, and they started publishing all of these one-shots over the past 2 years to clear their inventory files to prepare for this big 52 thing, which is starting now. You know about this? That DC Comics?
Yep.
Everything's new at DC. Superman doesn't have pants on the outside anymore and shit. They're inside. The red shorts are inside now. If you look like this. Oh, mine are red, actually. Yeah, see, red. No kidding. I'm wearing Superman shorts. Okay. I do have no filter, as you can see. Is it sad? You feel bad for me? Having a good time with this?
Oh, yeah. You've done some Batman earlier as well. I remember the
terrible.
Oh, Batman black and white.
That wasn't bad. No, I'm serious. I spent years unable to. I mean, I'm a child of the superhero era. I started reading comics when I was 4. I decided I was going to do them for a living when I was 5. And all I read was superhero comics. I came on the Marvel bandwagon about 8 months into it, so I hadn't heard about it because I was such a DC fan. Such a DC fanboy, it was pathetic. Gil Kane, Tom Infantino, Joe Kubert, and Alex Stowe. Oh, yay, oh, yeah. And then somebody showed me a Spider-Man #1 and Fantastic Four, and I was like, holy shit. These people are being rude to each other. They're acting like my family. It's really cool. So I became a Marvel fanatic. I was a member of the Merry Marvel Marching Society. I was a friend of Foom. I was just really such a total fanboy, fag, geek. And by the time I became a professional, I had no interest in doing superheroes whatsoever. None. It went away. And none of my colleagues at that time did as well. None of us, we were all sword and sorcery, crime, and Bergen. That's what we did, science fiction. And we thought we were the last generation of comics talent, because there was a huge paper shortage in the early 1970s. And the assumption, too, that paper would go away, because the concept of recycling had never occurred to anyone. And I'm not being facetious, this is true. And the other assumption was that computers would eliminate paper. Is that the greatest idea you've ever heard? I love this. Everything was going to be digital. Right. How many people have a completely digital, no paper office? I want to see your hands. Thank you. So basically, what we discovered was we weren't really the last generation of comics talent. We were the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae. We were holding back the time so that the old guys who were our parents' age, like Kirby Romita, all those guys, could draw superhero comics at Marvel. Because none of us worked at Marvel. Marvel only wanted guys over the age of 40. Guys in their 20s did not work at Marvel in those days. It was an old man's company. Because Stan didn't know us. He knew the old guys. And the old guys were grateful to him, and they did whatever he wanted. What we didn't realize was that we were there to hold down the fort until the mid-'70s, so Frank Miller and Bill Sienkiewicz come into the business and take over the superhero business. And that's really what happened. And the rest of us have been doing everything we can to catch up in that regard. I do superhero comics today because that's what the work is available to me. But you'll note that whenever I have an opportunity, I do westerns, I do crime, I do war, I do fucking, I do anything I possibly can. Even the new superhero book I'm doing right now is an adventure book that happens to have some costume characters in it. I much prefer guns, suits, neckties, hot babes, and treachery. I have to always be reminded by my editors that these characters that I'm drawing and writing have superpowers. Because I hate using superpowers. I like characters relating to each other in human scale. And I really do have to be reminded. It's really nutty of me. I mean, I've reached a point right now where I'm more and more interested in the real world than I've ever been before. And it's why I love doing Challenges of the Unknown, because it was guns and ammo. And speaking of the real world.
This is war.
Yeah, World War I. I mean, I for some reason, I've been doing a lot of World War I stuff. This is a thing with Garth Ennis called Phantom Eagle. And they called me up and asked me to do it. My first question was, why would you do such a book? No one's going to buy this. This is a marketplace that doesn't care about anything that happened before it was born, I mean, for Christ's sake. They said, we really want to do it. I think they really wanted to do it because they wanted to work with Garth. And the next week, I got a call asking if I'd be interested in doing a 5-issue arc of Wolverine. I said, yeah, because there's money in Wolverine, for Christ's sake. Because I wasn't going to make any money doing this. And I said, but I've already signed on to do Phantom Eagle. He said, we'll put it off for 5 months. Duh? Really? You'll put off a book that no one's going to buy to do, and they did. It was fantastic. I had a great year. I drew Wolverine, working with Mark Guggenheim, another one of my all-time favorite writers, because Mark is the most artist-friendly writer in the business. His work is incredibly easy to figure out panel by panel. And then I went to work with Garth. And this was a great opportunity to demonstrate the fact that I can draw people being beheaded by airplanes, and a lot of blood, and a lot of really gushy, violent stuff, and I had the best time. I mean, you should know, artists among you, artists?
Oh.
Who of you have tried to draw biplanes? Yeah, right. Try drawing a biplane when you get home tonight. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll become a drugstore clerk instead. They are the worst.
Yeah, you got a biplane up there.
Lots of biplanes. I had 7 different aircraft running this 5-issue story. I earned my money. So I had a great time with this. Costumes, reference, research, uniforms. Ooh, I had a great time. I love this shit.
From the war to the Century West.
Yes. Some years back, you're missing all this good shit, and you're at my head, and you're seeing all this wonderful. Can you move it up? God damn it! Look, it's great. Okay. About 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I got a call from a guy named Gianfranco Cordero, who runs Disney Italia in Milan. And I took the job because I figured they'd fly me over to Milan. I love Italy. I've never been to Milan. I know Rome. I know Florence. I know Venice, but I've never been to Milan. And Disney Italia wanted to get into the graphic novel business. They were like this, like Shylock the Usurer, rubbing their hands in glee. And they commissioned the graphic novel from Daniel Brereton, who did what I consider one of the best jobs he's ever done. L'ultima battaglia,
the final fight,
final battle, which looks so much like those early 1960s Hercules sword and sandal movies. It really does. It's great. And then I came on, and I pitched them 2 books. I pitched them a crime book, which ultimately became Marked Man, and I pitched them a Western. And this Western is what they bought. It was called Century West. And what it is, it's about a fictional town in Texas, somewhere between 1903, which is the year that the Wright brothers flew, and 1914, which is the beginning of hostilities in the First World War. And it's about 3 Texas Rangers. The chief of the Rangers is a Canadian from Saskatchewan, his 2 deputies. One of them is a Jewish cop from New York who's on the run from a murder rap, and the other one is a black pimp from New Orleans who's on the run from having cheated on a wife who's very jealous. And it's about a bunch of movie makers on the run from Edison's attorneys. I'm losing them already. That's great. And they're making a movie in town throughout all this. And it's about the attack of the 20th century's technology on a 19th century idea. And I love this book, and they loved it. They published it in Italian, they published it in Spanish, and then they gave it up. They just decided they weren't in the business anymore. So we just got it back, and it'll be in English sometime between now and the next San Diego convention. I don't know when.
Which publisher?
Image. Image will be publishing this. And we're going to print 4 copies in Norwegian, because we figured that's what we'll buy. I will come over, and I will stand on the corner of, and I'm not going to mispronounce any street names, Walk and Don't Walk, and offer them for sale to you, the reader. I'm hoping, literally, an English language version, probably an American and UK publication, German, and possibly Danish. And I'm looking for Portuguese because I'd like another invitation down to Sao Paulo. I like Sao Paulo. It's like Gotham City, but they speak a different language. And I love this book. This was just an absolute gas to do. Again, automobiles, airplanes, paving the streets of a western town, drawing dogs, drawing kids, drawing hot women. Fantastic. Please, go on.
Some nice sound effects in there as well.
Again, Ken Bruzenak, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Ken Bruzenak. And the nice thing is, he lettered it digitally, so the Italian edition and the Spanish edition are also lettered by Ken Bruzenak, in Italian and Spanish. And the funniest thing is the translations are hysterical. They really are. Because one of the girls in the book is called Mignonette, Mignonette. And one of our heroes used to date her when she was on the stage in New York, and he calls her Min. And the Italians found some different I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. This was fantastic. I love it. So that's it.
It's a great book.
It's beautiful. I'm very happy. I mean, I'm very proud of this book a great deal. I busted mine.
So if it comes in Danish, you might be able to read it.
Well, you can buy it in English.
Yeah. Wow.
Buy it in English. You're all pretending to speak English. You're all acting like you understand what I'm saying. It's good.
Yeah. Do you know if that Brereton Final Battle will be issued in the same series?
No.
No.
I love Dan.
Oh.
Even when he doesn't wear pants.
Here's another PvP.
Another Western. Not as yet published.
Soiled
Dove.
Yes.
This is an anecdote. Okay. I got a call from one of my favorite editors at DC Comics, and he wanted to know if I was